Pay attention to what she's talking about. Up on what? Elevating to be exalted high as the Most High. For she's a huge part of the agenda. Just pay attention to this. RIP 2020. Notice all the crosses, all the pearls, all the stones. And notice how he's laying down with the chains on. Take your chains off. That's what that's what I had did the breakdown too. You gotta check out my Meghan Markle video. But I had did the breakdown on the Busta Rhymes Czar video, how they had that with Michael Blackson, and how I was mentioning how that really represented nothing but the Messiah getting his chains taken off. That was them saying that he won't be able to rise into royalty. You know what I mean? This stuff is deep. And I'm gonna keep this thing rolling because what I want to play the clip on is what you gotta hear what she says right quick. I'm gonna play the clip and chime in. Know how they standing inside the circle in all black like witches, like warlocks. Pay attention to that.
Nigga had a twin, I would let him run a train.
She said if he had a twin, I would let him run a train. What is the twin she's talking about? I just showed you at the beginning of the video, representing nothing but the Messiah. Practically, she's saying if he had an evil side, I would let him run a train. Because what the train represents, if you understand, remember during the time I did a Jesse James video, but what the train represents nothing but like the Exodus. You see, like the Exodus, and like when you understand the train, it represents the train of salvation. Hence why you had to show Soul Train. Remember that? All of that represents is like the whole aspect of the soul. That's why I had made the video with the Jesse James talking about like the Thomas train and why Thomas the little cartoon called Tommy the Train, why the writer's name was Christopher. The writer's name who created the name was William, and his son named Christopher. William being like the will of I am being the Most High in Exodus 3:14, and his son Christopher, aka Chris, basically deriving from what we all call Christ. You see what I mean? This stuff goes that deep, y'all. That's why she said if he had a twin, I'd let him run a train. In other words, trying to say like if he was wicked and if he wanted to be a part of our agenda, I'd let him run a train. You see why she's in a circle of life. And you notice how a train rides around the railroad in a circle. So notice how she's saying that if he had a twin, he'll get to run a train. Notice why she's standing inside the circle, aka the circle of life. I just did the Lion King video mentioning how the circle of life represented nothing but the one world order without the Most High being involved. Hint why Scar was the villain of the movie. But I'm gonna keep this thing rolling. Because if you notice how she got the clock, how she's forming a clock, and they have champagne. Because all they're saying is that we're going to be able to continue our kingdom and celebrate. That's all she's saying. Notice how she always has her tongue out. All that is in ritual with the goddess Kali. Always, that's all it represents is the goddess Kali. And I'm actually going to play the clip right quick that I want to talk about. Because if you notice, that's why they had the, in 2019, which is literally near the end of Trump's presidency, this is why they had the show Rhythm and Flow. And I'm going to delve into this and why the man named D Smoke had to win. Remember,